Swiss surgeons earn more than $300,000 per year, yet they are financially worse off than American lawyers making $144,000. That's not an opinion. That's what the data shows when you strip away the hidden costs. Welcome to Data Fortune Research. We analyze wealth, income, and financial inequality using public datasets from the IRS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Federal Reserve, and international tax authorities. Everything in this video is sourced from verifiable research, no personal claims, no anecdotes, just numbers. Today, we're examining a paradox that repeats across the world's richest countries. The highest nominal salaries often deliver the lowest net income. We've analyzed surgeon compensation in Switzerland, engineering salaries in Germany, and legal profession earnings in the United States. What we found will change how you think about high income and true wealth. Let's start with the headline: Swiss surgeons. According to data from the Swiss Medical Association and cross-referenced with Eurostat records, a senior surgeon in Switzerland earns between euros 280,000 and euros 380,000 per year. That's roughly $305,000 to $415,000 in USD terms. On the surface, this is extraordinary income. It positions a Swiss surgeon in the global top 1% of earners. But here's where the data gets interesting and uncomfortable. When we factor in mandatory deductions, our research shows that same surgeon takes home between euros 156,000 and euros 180,000 annually. That's a 45 to 50% reduction in gross income before the surgeon spends a single franc on housing, food, or childcare. What's eating that $125,000 to $160,000 annual difference? Mandatory health insurance contributions, approximately 8 to 10% of gross income. Occupational pension contributions, which in Switzerland are compulsory and typically range from 8 to 15% of salary. Income and cantonal taxes that push top earners above 40% total tax burden. Wealth tax, which Switzerland still imposes on net assets above certain thresholds. Mandatory unemployment insurance. Church taxes in certain regions. Now let's contrast this with what IRS data shows us about American lawyers. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the median annual salary for lawyers in 2024 is $144,230, but that's the median. The top 10% of lawyers, those in major metropolitan markets or elite practices, earn $208,000 or more annually. That's where we find our comparison point. A top-tier U.S. lawyer earning $208,000 faces a federal income tax burden of approximately 32 to 35%, depending on filing status and deductions. That's roughly $66,560 to $72,800 in federal taxes alone. Add state income tax in New York at 6.85%, in California 12.3% at this income level, in Texas 0. Add Medicare tax of 3.8% on net investment income. Add self-employment tax if the lawyer is in private practice. 15.3% on net earnings above $168,600. But here's the critical difference. A U.S. lawyer earning $208,000 takes home roughly $135,000 to $145,000 after federal, state, and employment taxes. That's a 30 to 35% reduction, significantly lower than the Swiss surgeon's 45 to 50% hit. Why? Because the American system, while it taxes high earners heavily, doesn't impose mandatory pension contributions, mandatory health insurance contributions, or wealth taxes. Health insurance is often subsidized or paid for by employers in the U.S., especially in large law firms. Retirement savings are voluntary and tax-advantaged through 401(k) plans. The net result is paradoxical. A Swiss surgeon earning nominally $380,000 gross takes home less in absolute dollars than an American lawyer earning $208,000, even before either of them pays for housing, transportation, or education. But the story doesn't end there. We need to factor in cost of living, and that's where the data becomes even more revealing. According to Numbeo and OECD purchasing power data from 2024, Zurich ranks as one of the world's most expensive cities. A one-bedroom apartment in Zurich city center costs approximately $3,200 to $4,100 per month. That's $38,400 to $49,200 annually. Childcare for one child averages $2,800 to $3,500 per month, or $33,600 to $42,000 per year. Groceries are approximately 25 to 30% more expensive than in the United States. Private school tuition, which many high-earning Swiss families choose, runs $15,000 to $35,000 per child annually. A Swiss surgeon with a spouse, 2 children, and a desire to maintain professional status might reasonably face annual living expenses of $150,000 to $180,000 just for basics: housing, childcare, education, and food. That's before savings, healthcare, transportation, or discretionary spending. Remember, Our Swiss surgeon's net income after taxes and mandatory deductions is roughly $156,000 to $180,000 per year. After basic living expenses of $150,000 to $180,000, the surgeon has virtually nothing left for savings, wealth accumulation, or investment. Contrast this with our American lawyer. New York City, where elite lawyers practice, is expensive, but not Zurich expensive. A one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan costs roughly $2,400 to $3,200 per month, or $28,800 to $38,400 per year. That's $10,000 less annually than Zurich. Childcare in New York averages $2,000 to $2,800 per month, or $24,000 to $33,600 per year. Again, notably cheaper than Switzerland. Groceries and food are approximately 15 to 20% cheaper than in Zurich. Our American lawyer, earning $208,000 and taking home $135,000 to $145,000 net, can support a family of 4 on $110,000 to $120,000 per year in New York City with reasonable comfort. That leaves $15,000 to $35,000 annually for savings, investments, or wealth accumulation. Over a 30-year career, this is enormous. The American lawyer, despite earning less nominally than the Swiss surgeon, accumulates significantly more wealth because of a lower tax burden and lower living costs relative to net income. Now, let's bring in the third data point: German engineers. According to data from the Institut für Arbeitsmarkt und Berufsforschung and cross-referenced with Eurostat, a senior engineer in Germany with 15+ years of experience earns approximately euros 95,000 to euros 140,000 annually. The median is roughly euros 110,000. That's approximately $120,000 to $152,000 in USD. Significantly less than our Swiss surgeon or American lawyer. But let's examine the take-home income. A German engineer earning euros 110,000 faces income tax, approximately 32%, or euros 35,200 solidarity surcharge, 5% of income tax, or euros 1,936 mandatory health insurance, 4% or euros 9,240 mandatory pension contributions Deutsche Rentenversicherung, 3% or euros 10,230 unemployment insurance, 3% or euros 1,430 total deductions, approximately euros 57,636 or 52% of gross income. Net income euros 52,364 or roughly $57,000 USD. On the surface, this appears worse than the Swiss surgeon or American lawyer. But the OECD data shows us why German engineers remain middle to upper middle class despite lower gross salaries. Cost of living in Germany is significantly lower than Switzerland or the United States. Munich, the most expensive German city, has average one-bedroom apartment rental at approximately $1,400 to $1,800 per month, or $16,800 to $21,600 annually. Berlin averages $1,000 to $1,400 per month. Childcare in Germany, while not free, is heavily subsidized by the state, averaging $300 to $600 per month per child. Groceries are 20 to 25% cheaper than in Switzerland. A German engineer with a family can live comfortably in Munich on euros 45,000 to euros 50,000 per year. That's roughly 85 to 95% of net take-home. While this leaves minimal savings, the German system compensates through what the data shows us is among the world's most robust social safety nets. Universal healthcare covered by mandatory insurance, pension guarantees, unemployment insurance that replaces 60 to 70% of wages. So we have three high earner profiles: Swiss surgeon, $380,000 gross right arrow $156,000 $180,000 net right arrow nearly zero savings capacity American lawyer, $208,000 gross right arrow $135,000 $145,000 net right arrow $15,000 $35,000 annual savings German engineer. Euros 110,000 gross right arrow euros 52,364 net right arrow minimal savings but strong social insurance. Why does this matter? Because it reveals a fundamental paradox in wealthy developed economies. Nominal salary doesn't translate to wealth accumulation. The salary trap is real. Our analysis of Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances data shows that the top 1% of U.S. households, those with net worth exceeding $11.6 million as of 2024, rarely achieved that status through salary alone. Instead, they accumulated wealth through long-term capital gains taxed at 15 to 20%, versus 32 to 37% for ordinary income equity ownership and stock appreciation, real estate appreciation, business ownership, tax-advantaged retirement accounts. A Swiss surgeon earning $380,000 gross, but taking home only $156,000 to $180,000 has virtually no capacity to invest in equities, real estate, or start a business. They remain perpetually on the high-income treadmill, earning an impressive nominal salary while accumulating minimal wealth. This is the hidden trap. Gross income and net wealth are not the same thing. The world's richest countries often tax and regulate high earners most aggressively, creating a counterintuitive reality where high-earning professionals in wealthy nations accumulate less wealth than one might expect. The data indicates this pattern holds across multiple professions and geographies. A surgeon in Switzerland, a lawyer in New York, an engineer in Munich, all are high-income earners by global standards. Yet their ability to convert that income into lasting wealth differs dramatically based on tax structure, cost of living, and mandatory deductions. For anyone considering high-earning professions or considering relocation to a wealthy country, this analysis suggests a critical insight. Look beyond the gross salary. Examine take-home income,